Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Brother6V. Welcome. Today we're going to be covering how to find and join a guild in 5 minutes or less. I really feel like 5 minutes is the golden time. My last video on vulnerabilities and resistances went over, but if you want to watch that video, it's going to be right here above my pen. But other than that, yeah guys, if you like what I'm doing, leave a comment below, or if you want to see something else covered, leave a comment below. I'm going to be making these videos for the community so everyone can get better together. So there's only really 2 places I recommend you going to find your guild or company, and they're both featured by Amazon themselves. The links will be in the description below. First, we have Amazon's New World website, where it's newworldfans.com. You also have some nice guides and databases up here, but it's very simple. They lay it out. You have your faction, so you want to be Covenant. If you are I'm from the EU, so I'm going to be clicking EU. And language, I speak English, obviously. And so you're able to filter and find exactly what kind of guild or company suits you best. And then you're able to go PvE, PvP, both, roleplay, whatever you want. Like, they actually do a really good job on this website, allowing you to filter and find exactly what you're looking for. This is actually how I found my guild that I'm currently part of, Demise. The second option I also recommend to you guys is going to their Discord server. They have a section for companies specifically, and if you're NA, EU, SA, whatever, Oceanic, like, you can easily just scroll through and find what guilds are recruiting and what they're looking for. They give you their basically like elevator pitch in the comments, and you just go ahead and join the guild. Next, I'll be talking about how to actually apply for a guild. So I'm gonna be looking at my guild and show you how we do it. So Demise, about us, yada yada. We have all this good information. We're a hardcore EU guild. And if you want to apply, you go ahead and apply now at this Google form. A lot of companies are actually using Google Forms, so this is actually a good way to do it. What you want to do once you get here is you actually want to take this very seriously. This is your first impression with the guild. I took a good amount of time actually filling this out, and I feel like that's what made me stand out amongst other people. Like, other people just like, they fill out Discord tag, applying through a friend, whatever. And then when you say, what are you looking for a company, like, fill that out. Some people probably leave that blank, or they'll just go hardcore. Like, that's what you're looking for a guild? Cool, dude. Thanks for all that effort. Like, make sure you're putting effort into your application, and that's what's going to stand out the most. I have never played hardcore MMOs. I'm actually very brand new to the MMO scene. And Demise, who's actually a leader in the hardcore EU servers, like they have the world record for fastest settlement purchased. They actually considered me, and I'm in that guild as of right now because of the time and effort I put into this application. And really, I talked about things that didn't have to do with the MMOs. I talked about how I played rugby at a very competitive level. I talked about my content. I talked about Apex. And that is things that the guild leadership appreciated, and they ended up considering me for. So keep that in mind. Don't undersell yourself. And that actually goes into the next step of do's and don'ts. As I go through these, some people might disagree with some of the things I say. That's okay. This is what I've gathered. The first thing is put yourself out there. There's a lot of guilds. You're one person, and the worst thing you can do is just not apply. So the first thing you should do is just get your name out there and try. Second thing is check your notifications. If you apply to a guild, if they're interested, they're gonna message you. And so you need to make sure you're checking things, because the first thing you want to see is, are you responsive? Next thing is apply to multiple guilds. This will be a point of contention. I know some people don't like this. I think you should apply to multiple guilds because you're one person without a guild. That guild is an organization that needs to have the humility to say, hey, this is a person that's trying to find a guild, and we are one of many guilds. Yes, they might think they're better, and they should think they're a better organization or whatever, but they need to take a step down from their throne and have the humility and be like, this is someone who's trying to find a guild, and respect that. So as a person looking for guilds, you should apply to multiple guilds, because what if one guild doesn't respond to you? Instead of waiting for a week and not getting a response, you might have another guild that hits you up. And also, you might see something that you like in a guild that you didn't like in another guild, and that gives you the ability to compare them. And that's something you wouldn't be able to have unless you applied to multiple guilds. Next, it goes kind of counterintuitive to the apply to multiple guilds. Once you get a guild, commit to it, all right? Like, once you're in, dude, like, that's your guild. Like, that's your family. That's your in-game homies. So, like, commit to the guild you do end up joining. These are things you shouldn't do. Don't do these things. Don't pressure the guild into reading your applications. Like, just don't do it. If the guild leadership, they're always busy. Even like a social guild that has like 50 people, like, that is a very tedious is the wrong word. It's time consuming. Like, there's a lot of new applications all the time. So, like, be patient, be understanding. And if you want to know the progress or update on your application, just ask them respectfully. Be like, hey, I've been here for a week. I just want to know where I'm at with the process. Appreciate any feedback. Thank you for your time. No one's going to hate you for that. But if you're like, dude, I applied like a week ago. I haven't heard anything. You just got off on the wrong foot, man. Second thing is, don't feel bad about getting into a guild. So the first guild I actually applied to, you'll hear about this afterwards, I got denied from. I felt kind of shitty, and you shouldn't. Like, don't feel bad about not getting a guild. Just get back on your feet or on your computer or whatever and apply to the next one. Everything happens for a reason. Next thing is, don't put little effort into your application, because that's your first impression to that guild. If you're like doing minimums, they're not going to think much of you. And at the end of the day, you're not God's gift to that guild. So you should be trying to sell yourself. And that's what's going to make you stand out and look good and make you look competitive to get into a guild. Last thing is, don't be a Nazboz. Nazbozes are assholes and no one wants them. If you don't know what I mean, just listen to my story after this. So my experience with finding a guild was actually quite negative, and then later on turned to a really positive thing. Initially, I had an interview with the first guild. I don't want to mention them because I don't want to give them free publicity or draw attention to them. And I had that scheduled at 1900. I was streaming beforehand. I was playing Apex, and as I was playing, checking Discord, I get a message from Big Bear, the governor of Demise, who later on takes me in. He just basically says, hey, we're interested in your application. We want to move you to voice interviews. And I told him, like, hey, I'll be free at 8 o'clock because obviously I had an interview at 7 with the other one, with the other guild, or 7 the next day, and so on and so forth. I then go on to the interview with that guild, and they basically shoot me down because reason being is I applied for other guilds. I try to explain myself, and I'm being like, hey, like, I'm not a spy if that's what you're worried about. And they're like, no, like, we don't trust you. It's a red flag that you consider other guilds, and we have a lot of protected information. We're guild first, yada, yada, yada. So once I realized it's like a dead-end conversation, I try to exit being like, yo, like, well, hopefully in the future you can reconsider me if I prove myself, yada, yada. And what he said next really irked me. He said, we will never reconsider you. And so I was like, all right. In my head, I'm like, this guild really is full of themselves. Like, he puts himself on a pedestal, like, all right, cool, bye. I leave. After that, I shoot Big Bear a message because now being like new to the guild scene, I'm like, well, maybe Big Bear's gonna be mad at me too because I applied for other guilds. So let me be transparent with them. I tell them like, hey, I applied for other guilds too. The reason why I'm telling you this because this other guild that I just interviewed with just shot me down and because they're insulted, they took it personally or whatever. And what he said next was, hey, not sure if I'm following. What drama is this guild starting now? And I was like, you know what? We can voice chat. The voice chat continues. And turns out the guild I originally applied for is like the drama queens of New World. And they're known to be very toxic already in the New World community, even though New World hasn't even really launched yet. So just searching the word Nazboz, who's the lead of their guild, you just see a bunch of things on the New World Discord that is like, funnily enough, Nazboz asked on stream. Several people heard it. When is Nazboz asking a professional to join them? Nazboz, backdoor seems salty, reported me. Everything concerning Nazboz, you can just keep reading them, is like in a negative connotation. Like, it's all negative. So when you have an entire Discord community and negative things are constantly revolving around one person, that's a red flag. I got very lucky that Big Bear messaged me during my stream because I might be a part of his guild, and that would have been like a terrible experience. So whenever someone's being toxic or stupid in New World, they're being a Nazboz, dude. And that's where that term comes from. And if you ever hear me say, dude, stop being a Nazboz, like, that's where that comes from. So just always know that. Don't be a Nazboz when applying for guilds. Everyone, thank you so much for watching the video today. I'm looking at the times, and clearly that's more than 5 minutes, so my 5-minute or less videos might start becoming a joke at this point in time, but give me a couple more reps, and I'm sure I'll get that time down. If you did like this video and or you want to see something else covered in a future video, leave a comment below. I do read them. It will inspire me to make the next video. But again, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.